Okay, so, again.
Thank you.
You gotta back these up. I'm not gonna throw those up in the back. Man.
You get too tight, like that heat.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Hi, Wes.
Wes, here's your chat.
Thank you. I know there was a reason I came here.
What's the action? You know, get paid for it, right?
That's right.
Alright, we'll always need some water. First thing, review and approve June 1st, 2021 minutes.
I move to be accepted as written.
Second that.
All in favor?
I haven't seen it once, so.
You all look at them?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Where's the new road?
What is it?
It's sort of a new road,
You know where Old Thomas lives?
yeah.
Before you get to Old Thomas's house.
Oh, okay,
the road
I
turns
know
off
where
the
it is
left
now,
side.
yeah, absolutely, I know exactly where it is, yeah.
I think
Thank
your
you.
son lives on New Road, right?
Yeah, I know where it is now, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, I saw something, I just didn't place it, so I know exactly.
Okay, I know what you're saying.
It's been long enough, we can call it the old new road.
Yeah. On the other end, it's called the county road. It's a big one.
The big one.
Yeah. So they got involved in like changing the name, like, I live on the Sebago Road, but when you hit the Sebago line, it now becomes the Convene Road.
Right. There you go. Or boundary road, spelled two different ways.
Is
It
it?
used to be. Finally figured it out.
My road is, on my end it's Wigan Road, the other end's Wiggins Road.
Yeah.
Back in the Civil War, that my great uncle, they made a mistake when he was fighting in the Civil War, and they changed his name to Wiggins. It's supposed to be Wigan. So after he got out of the war, he just kept it that way.
Couldn't get his pension unless he did.
Right,
probably.
yeah.
I've heard that before.
I move that we accept the warrants.
Yeah, second?
Second.
All in favor?
state law says we can appoint one of the selectmen to review the, payroll warrant in advance and approve it. We used to do that with Jeff, I think.
I usually get up there on Tuesdays, I've already signed it. And sign it in the morning. But, you know, after I check it.
Okay.
Owen, what you got for us?
Just wanted to, I guess, give you a formal heads up. I think Bruce may have touched base with you, Dwight, on the radio issues and the tower issues, maybe he touched a little bit with, I don't know how much you guys know. So our main repeat, I know Jimmy, you probably know a decent amount about it. Our main repeater is on the, Channel 8 tower on Douglas Hill Road for radio communications for the fire department and dispatch. The town road crew also has a repeater up there. Long story short, the only way to get up there is by elevator, and the elevator was broke for a substantial amount of time, earlier this year. When we were having issues with the repeater, some of its age, it is due for replacement, but the moral of the story is it opened up the conversation for if something were to happen where we can't even transmit or our repeater's down, and that elevator's down, there's no way to get up there. So that opened the conversation, about maybe moving the repeater itself down into the control room and keeping just the antenna up there. So that's something we've been exploring. Bruce met with Jeff Hartford, earlier in the week. Again, this is just rough figures, nothing set in stone. If we were to move that down there, that includes, I believe, the new repeater as well. Like I said, it's just a rough estimate. Nothing set in stone, but,
So this would update the repeater? I know it is, that is pretty old.
it is, yeah, so it is due for replacement. I don't know if you listen or any of you guys listen, but lately the repeater's actually stuck open. So they'll hit a tone out, and like right now, they can hit a tone out, and that'll just be stuck open for 2 minutes. We can talk over it, so it's not the end of the world, but
Right.
it is acting up. So when it was acting up, there was no way to get up there.
Yeah.
So I guess, like I said, just put the,
So who's this, estimate from?
this is from one estimate, and that's the only estimate we've gotten, and it's just a rough formal estimate, from Hartford Communications Headquarters. He's the main guy we do all our radio work with.
But it's technically feasible to put the radio at the bottom and, run a wire up to the antenna.
Yeah.
Wonder why they didn't think of it first time.
Probably wasn't the technology back then, and this is.
Well, that tower go up early 2000s, or late 90s?
Yeah.
I remember it being put there as a kid, just because I thought it was the coolest thing.
Yeah, it was after the state voted the 911 term.
Oh, yeah.
It was shortly after that, because we went to that's when we went to a regular dispatch.
Yep.
So.
Well, anyways, I guess just the whole point of me being here tonight is I wanted you, the selectmen, to know that the fire department is discussing and seeking more information on that, because it is an issue. If something were to happen, we cannot get up there if that elevator's broken.
It's the first time I've known an elevator to be broken. I mean, I know it could be issues.
Yeah.
You're gonna get more estimates?
Oh, yeah, like I said, this was just a, let's sit down and have coffee with Jeff type meal, type deal. There was no, it could be a lot less, that was just a thrown together. I wanted something to be put on paper so you guys could just.
Yeah.
That's all I got. I just wanted you guys to know that there's chit chat between the fire department and radio stuff.
Okay, now you've got roughly $30,000 here to replace this thing. And you also got a $10,000 pump coming up, right? So, I mean, this is big money.
Yeah. Hence why I wanted to start the discussion now,
Yeah.
so.
You know, he mentioned the pump to me today and stuff, so.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a firm answer on that tomorrow is when they're gonna be here to look at it.
Yeah, I know they're coming to work on a couple of the trucks.
Yeah, they're gonna fix two of the very minor issues on engine 5 and tank 1, but, engine 1's not looking good,
Yeah.
so,
That's old.
yeah.
That's one of the first real fire trucks we go on.
But, like I said, just wanted you guys to have a heads up, and
All right.
that way you know we're working on it, and we'll have that discussion out there.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Yeah. Review common county documents, two girls
Thank you.
recertification. You look at these, are both of them here, Danielle?
You should have 3 in front.
Three, yeah, okay.
What's the protocol, everybody sign it, and where it says assessor signature? Guess I move that we approve these.
Wait a second. Oh, Sam Pond owner listing, this is, this one, I think.
Yeah, we gave two different options. I couldn't find, I thought we did something a little more restrictive last time. We sold a River Road piece, or Pigeon Brook, that had more restriction than the first one. So,
I like this one, that Porter, is more in detail, did you read that?
Yeah.
I think that's more of a legal, yeah.
Yeah. They require a deposit. 10% deposit on the bid. They got a minimum bid on it.
Right, I wasn't sure what you guys wanted to do for minimum bid from the information that Paul gave you.
Can't remember, what was that? What was the estimate?
I think it was between 1,000 and 1,500 per acre with a right of way, and there's no right of way, so.
We're talking about two different things, aren't we? Are we jumping topics here?
No? Unknown Sam Pond on the listing? This is just a listing for the shopper's guide?
Okay,
She,
so the sand pond, I guess I'm a little confused here, because the sand pond, is just a foreclosed property. We know who the previous owner was, right? And,
probably
It's a listing for
two,
three properties, really, the unknown owner is two,
unknown and Sam Pond.
and Sam Pond, it was just
Yeah.
abbreviation.
so I think this one, the Porter example for tax acquired property is pretty good for the, sand pond property. I don't really want to put a minimum bid on that.
I think we should.
Well, you can only refuse anything, but,
We also have to contact the abutters, because basically, you can't get there without going through somebody else's property.
at the sand pond property?
No, the unknown owner.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so I say, we need to,
Okay,
which one are we talking about first?
well, there was discussion, I didn't, Dwight mentioned about maybe listing them both, so I just put that as an option, I wasn't sure what you wanted to do on either one of them.
Yeah.
You wanna let the abutters know first, before putting it out to?
I would let them know concurrently, but.
Yeah.
They're really the only ones that it's got any value to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then they can add on to their property, still have access.
Right, yeah.
Not stir up a bunch of trouble.
Well, I think out of courtesy, you should tell them first, before you just put it on, in the newspaper.
A couple of them have already been notified, right?
That's not us, Paul's not approving anything, so we need to write the, he said, one abutter has been called, I don't know if he called the other.
Yeah.
There's three abutters,
I think
So-
there's only three.
so what I can see, yeah. But if, I mean, that's another thing, I haven't heard anything from Paul, so are we kinda taking this over and are we writing letters and, okay. So I guess if you guys wanna advertise it Monday, we can work on it the rest of the week and fine tune the ads and get the letters out. Just to vote to, I guess, move forward and get this listed on Monday in the shopper's guide if you want.
I think the abutters should be notified. Myself.
Just the butters first, or?
What's that?
I think the question that she had was, do we just notify the abutters first? Or do we give it a public notice?
Well, I think we ought to do both.
Okay.
They'll let them know it's gonna go up again.
Yeah. Yeah, so if they miss it in the shopper's guide, something, or they don't see it or something.
Sure.
Yep.
So, I guess then the question is, for the, unknown, I forget what we call them, the Hazel Ward lots.
Right.
No.
Do we wanna put a minimum bid per acre? How are we gonna do this?
we should have a minimum bid. The days, I mean, we've seen one piece of property, we got a bid of $500 on it, and that piece of property turned over and it was sold for $10,000.
Sure.
You know, so,
Yeah.
you know, it just, I think we ought to have a minimum on it, so we have an idea.
What's the number?
I assume it's an empty property, so no building on it.
Right.
That's something on it.
So if an abutter buys it, they can increase their property so it's more conforming. So it's
Well,
an advantage to have an abutter buy it.
These lots are, up on the northern border of the town, behind where the, new, solar farm is going to be up on Steve Estes' property. So I think the abutters are Steve Estes, was it Rick Day?
Warren Swan.
And Warren Swan. And they've all at one time or another over the last 4 or 5 years said they're interested in them. But who knows, it might be someone in the other, in the Hiram that's interested too, because there's a butter there.
Yeah.
So it's on Sand Pond Road, not right around Sand
No,
Pond?
it's not on Sand Pond Road at all.
Not the one, not this one, not the one we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Right, there's two different lots here.
So,
Different field.
so what are you comfortable with? I mean, we saw some numbers at our workshop that said, you know, 350, 400, because there's no right of way to it, whatnot. Pick a number. That or higher, whatever, I don't know. See how it goes.
Per acre?
Yeah, why don't you do it per acre?
Yeah.
Myself,
Uh-huh.
my low bid would be $1,000 an acre. That's me. So.
How many acres is?
What's the total acreage? I can print that out.
133, I think it is.
133 acres?
Yeah.
No,
Is it less than
no.
that?
Maybe one is 50 and one is 25 or something. I bet, I think you're wrong.
Yeah, well, I might be wrong too.
That's still a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
It is and it isn't, when you gotta give $65,000 for 2 acres to build a house on,
Mm-hmm.
and we've already got that advertised in town right now,
Mm-hmm.
you know? I'm not gonna say it's gonna sell for that, but I bet it does sell.
Sure.
Might have to bot it down a little bit, but.
Acreages in this huge farm. I thought it was more like 49. Oh, here we go. So 15A, you have 15 acres.
How many?
15.
15A, 15 acres, and for 15, it says there's 43 acres.
33 and 15.
I think it's more than
Just a couple.
The abutters have already been notified, because back in 2017, we sent them a statutory notification that looking for the owner. And actually, 1, 2, 3, 4 went out. Don Talbot and Dale King
Who are they?
from Falmouth, they're in a butter. Brent Anderson, Warren Swan, and TYFD, but this was back in 2017, I think Ricky Day bought Anderson.
Yeah.
So, they have been notified back in 2017 that it's unknown, so. Yeah, no, your acreage.
I know funding in
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Red one,
Right,
too.
right, yeah.
4 years ago.
A big number.
I don't care, 1,000 acres.
Do you wanna wanna table it till your workshop and think about it some more?
We'll never get there. Make a motion, Mike.
I'd still stick with $1,000.
So moved.
Second.
We're gonna vote?
All in favor? Just wait, I'm looking at it. All right. If, you
So
know,
$1,000,
worst comes to worst, then we'll bid on it, and
We'll still be sitting on it. It's always easier to lower it than it is to
yeah,
try to extend it.
we always bring it down.
So Danielle,
yep,
if you use this Porter example, I think it's very good. We have all the
Yeah, I like it too.
warnings and exceptions and stuff.
Yeah.
for both lots?
Yeah, they're both adjacent and, you might want to add in there that there is no right-of-way access,
Mhm.
Okay.
just to be totally clear, but I guess you can
Yep.
let them figure that out themselves, but, and then you can list the individual lots and their current assessment and minimum bids based on the size of the order maker. Sounds good?
Sounds good to me.
So one ad for just the unknown owner pieces?
Yes,
Okay,
I would separate out the other one.
okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
And for the other one, similar ad. What's that, a quarter acre, isn't it? Like 0.48, 12.48, yeah. What's the minimum bid we want to come on? 10,000?
No, I wouldn't go that.
Someone will turn around and sell it for 20.
Yeah.
5?
I was just thinking 5.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's real close proximity to the bond.
Yeah, yeah.
I move that we use 5,000 minimum bid.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Good.
That take care.
What can you do with .48?
It all depends. It's a grandfathered piece of property, but you have to go out and actually measure the setbacks and stuff to see what you could put on it.
The postage stamp.
It's pretty small, assuming, I guess at the time it was cut or divided out, that it was, you could put whatever you wanted on it, but nowadays we have requirements to at least maintain frontage and setbacks, so maybe you could just park a camper on it every now and then or whatever.
Mhm.
Is there anybody that's right next to it?
Yeah.
The butter?
Yeah,
And they don't want it?
who knows, see if they did. There's,
If they get it off. Maybe this other piece, they could add it to theirs,
Mhm.
and be better off.
see, it's on the outside lane, so to speak, so the waterfront is on the right, and this is one of these outside lanes.
So
Lots.
this roadway comes through and it's on the other side of the road?
Yeah, it's not on the waterfront, it's on the other side, so.
Yeah.
Somebody could add to it and maybe put a bunch of early building on it, I don't know.
You don't ask the abutters if they wanna buy it?
They can bid.
No.
Do you wanna send letters to the others in San Pond?
Hmm?
The same type of letter
Yeah.
for San Pond butters? Okay.
Yeah,
I think we do, I mean.
I think Joe's in the butter, you know why?
Give them a heads up. Could be.
Could
be my sister's the butter one day. It's okay.
Off Dave's Lane?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, my sister's the butter over there.
When they logging up there?
My land.
Oh, sure, you get days over there working on?
Ricky, yeah.
So this, does Brent Day haul for Ricky or something?
Not that I know of.
Cause I see a day truck come down through with a load of logs the other day while I was in the pond.
Those guys switch all around, they lend each other equipment, they,
Yeah,
you know.
that threw flags up to me, but.
Brent may be logging up further Sand Pond Road, but
Yeah,
no. It's Ricky and Rusty and David in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they swap equipment all around, and you never know what you're gonna see.
Yeah, but they might not just haul it.
Yeah.
It was, I think my daughter said it was Craig Day
I
driving
think
the truck.
this is what's the draft.
So, that's, you talk about a small world.
Yeah,
Right,
family,
right,
yeah.
You know, there's another lot that we looked at here in the last few months that we're not really doing anything with, and that's the lot on Saco River.
Mhm.
It's got a problem in that it was assessed as, it was assessed along with the neighboring lot, which I think was labeled incorrectly. Remember that one?
The little cabin there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was a real mess. I guess we ought to, have Ben Thompson, see what's going on with that.
We've been seeing what's going on with that. That whole area is a big
Yeah, that's.
mess and there to do piles,
It's,
but yeah.
That's that Don Vale.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know he's worked on that.
He'll be here Thursday, you can talk to him about it.
Yeah.
All right. Selectmen's Corner article review. Do we have a copy of that? No?
Yep.
You should.
This was one thing I drafted up just to kind of get a heads up to the people.
Oh, that one? Oh, okay, that's for the, that's that one, okay. Yeah, wasn't labeled. Okay.
It's something, a draft for the Selectmen's Corner, which, I don't know how much traffic it gets, but, the other thing it helps was just to, kind of put everything in perspective for me of what we're looking at, because, there's a pretty good list of things there that need to be done probably before the next town meeting. But maybe not all as part of it, one right away. But in fact, I think, you know, with the, when I'm looking at the one for, the gentleman who wants to get a, state liquor license, the local option vote requires them 60 days. They need to get the petition 60 days before the town meeting, if I read that statute correctly. So, I think he's probably out of the window for something that we want to do for correcting our budget, but we'll see. I haven't heard back from him. I sent him an email, told him what he needed.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to Deb to see if he's come in to get the form. But the two tax bill thing, again, we could, vote on that at a special town meeting. It would be an advisory vote from the townspeople as to how they wanna go, but I think we need to be prepared to tell them how we wanna do it, because there's a whole host of ways that we can do it. And maybe at the workshop next week, we can get into that in some detail, show you the options. I don't know if you've read the MMA.
Well, we talked about it a little bit last week.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to it, quite honestly. And, when Ben is here on Thursday, he said we could talk about the question I put to him about how do you do the assessment portion of it, which is gonna be important, you know.
Yeah.
Because no matter how you do it, there's gonna be an early assessment, an early tax bill, when you transition.
Will that be just for like the first year?
Yeah, and that's when the changeover, so you go from 2 tax bills to 1.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a tax bill that people haven't traditionally gotten at that phase.
Yeah.
Thereafter, it'll all straighten out, but, All right, so I don't know, I move that we, post this on the, Selectmen's Forum, the town website.
Second, all in favor?
I think this is probably good, because I don't think some people understand it, you know, what we're faced with and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and the other letter that you wrote out, you know, explaining the taxes and the revenues and stuff like that, isn't that tricky?
Yeah, cool. One up to the left.
Yeah.
My cleanup crew.
So look at the ball game.
Yeah.
But I think it's good for people to see that, but I don't think they understand it, so.
No, this thing doesn't have the detail in the note that I sent to Ben.
Yeah.
No.
And another thing, when we're on the subject of talking to Ben, I think we gotta look farther ahead. I mean, we're gonna have him here on the 10th for the one solar project. What about these other 3 or 4 projects that is gonna be standing in the eyes through? You know, I think we ought to just run it by him, just see what he thinks it's gonna be to do the tax rate, stuff like that. It's gonna be hard not knowing, but at least you lay the cards on the table for him.
Yeah. I don't know, you know, it's a little bit uncertainty here.
You want kids?
Particularly when you looked at that document that came from the state today, did you look at that at all?
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
That's what I was doing, figuring and stuff, when you walked in and stuff, see what the difference was in that valuation a year ago compared to what it is now.
Well, you know, what we're talking about is we got a letter from the state, which is an advance estimate of the 2022 state evaluation for the town, which is what the state is anticipating they're gonna use for, our, revenue sharing and whatnot, and would impact our schools, and it actually drops down according to what they say there, but I don't know, I know what the concept is, which is they look at, the town's evaluation that Ben produces, and then they add back in, the value that gets exempted, essentially, and a few other finagles there, and come up with what they think the town is really, evaluated at, and that's kind of the basis of their, and I think the county does a similar thing. But according to their numbers, they predict a decrease, but I don't know, I may be reading the thing wrong. And they, haven't calculated in a lot of solar panel stuff, but as we've seen before, that stuff tends to lag by 2 or 3 years. So, it's interesting.
special town meeting review.
What that is, I put together a spreadsheet that, just looked at the finances, which is the number one item in that, report. And, the purpose, what I was looking to do was to, let me see if you bring out the right one. No, it didn't.
There's two, but I couldn't tell really the difference, so.
There is a difference. And,
I can send it right now, the last one, you had two in your email, and
Yep.
I looked and they kinda look similar, so.
they look similar, but they're different. And
Okay.
one was, the budget that we presented at town meeting.
The budget committee version? Yep.
And, and the other one was the one that I calculated, the fix.
You see what Conus just voted their revaluation down?
No,
Yeah.
did we get to vote on whether we approved or
Yeah.
to do a revaluation?
Yeah, should do a
And
revaluation.
they voted that down?
Yeah,
Doesn't the state demand that?
yeah. That's why,
Now what?
Hey, don't keep putting it off, that's what you're already,
Well, I
you
mean-
eventually.
that's why Portland is 15 years right now since they've had one. And South Portland is 14 years, it's, by law, it's supposed to be done every 10 years.
Yeah.
Right,
You know, so,
Right.
If you get 10% out of whack, what do? They do something to you?
well, up in, Clinton, they took and added $25,000 to every assessed house in the, yeah, because they voted 3 times, the townspeople voted it down.
right.
Well, Clinton, that's probably accurate, but Portland, I think they'd say, sure, give us the 25,000 additional.
They're screaming at Portland right now, because, I mean, their values have gone up so much in the last 5 years.
That equalizes things when you do a reevaluation, my feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
the people who have an older house, you know, it gets recognized that it's older as opposed to the people who just, you know, got a brand new
Right,
house.
yeah, yeah.
No, I came out, I think, paying a little bit more taxes, but I thought it was fair.
Yeah, good.
You never come out paying less taxes, I don't care.
More people, I have more people ask me, where are taxes going? I never tell them they went down.
I think that's
No, I
right,
just-
yeah.
I mean, I gotta be honest with them.
Yeah. No, people always want more.
Yeah, right. Well, when we lived in Wyndham, the year that Home Depot and Lowe's came to town, our taxes actually went down. It's like $10, but.
Yeah, but I can believe it.
Yeah, so that did help taxes.
Yeah, but Volvo's not getting any Lowe's Home Depot.
No. No.
Whenever you hear about what's gonna happen with the solar farms getting money to you or the state because of the solar farm, I'd really like to know.
Mhm.
I'm dying to know, because at least half the reason why I allowed these guys to put up the solar farm
Yeah,
was because I thought it was doing the town a favor.
right, yeah.
And I am pissed off that it seems like it may not be doing the town any good at all.
Right.
That just bothers
Yeah.
me.
Well, it's gonna increase the valuation of the town, and it's gonna take, when the evaluation goes up, the amount of money and revenue we get from the state is gonna go less.
Yep.
So, and then that's why I say, looking at these other ones, looking down the road another 4 or 5 years, you know, we gotta do some figuring and stuff. And then you take somebody in the school district that doesn't do a reevaluation, is it fair? Are they paying an equal amount that we're paying? You know, I'm gonna say no.
Okay. So, a lot of numbers on the page, but most of the same thing that you saw in the budget process, except look at 51. Alright, so the one I just gave you has a number of 140 there.
Yeah.
The original one has a number of 100. And, then down toward the bottom, under, the one I just gave you, under municipal revenues, over in the right-hand column for the 2021 budget, there's a 80,000, you see that? Undesignated fund balance. In the town budget that we did, we didn't take any money from the undesignated fund balance. And you get down to the bottom, and the one I just gave you has a projected mill rate of about 13.55, whereas the town budget had a projected mill rate of 14.33. So the significance of the item 51, we had this discussion while we were doing the budget about local road assistance monies. And when we wrote up the budget and it was voted at the town meeting, it was for $100,000, and that's to go with the local road assistance money,
Which is about 40,000.
which is about 40,000. And the discussion that we had was that I think it had to do with whether we put the local road assistance money in the municipal revenues slot or not. And the decision was to include it there. So if you look on the one I just gave you, there's 40,000 under local road assistance. And in the previous one for the budget, we have 40,000. The difference is that at town budget, the number that we used there was only the 100,000. And the problem with that is that if you don't count that $100,000 or $40,000 that you're going to spend as an expense, but you take the credit from the state, you're actually going in the whole 40,000. What you need to do is you need to say, I'm going to spend $40,000, and then I'm going to cancel that with $40,000 from the state, and they cancel each other out. Otherwise, you're going to go in the hole. Now, and that's what I've reflected here on this sheet that I just gave you, the new one. I know it sounds contrary, but that's the way it is, and that's the way we used to do it. When you do all that and you take the $40,000 or the $80,000 from the undesignated fund balance, it comes out to a mill rate of about 13.55, which is pretty good. I think it's slightly less than what we had this last year. And based on the audit report, the draft audit report that we received, we should be good to do that because the undesignated fund balance that they reported was up almost $300,000 from the year before.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good. And if you were to reduce that by 80, so currently, based on that, we have a 29% undesignated fund balance. The goal is supposed to be 25 or 26%. So if you move that $80,000, we'll be right about on target. Now, I don't know where we're going to be at the end of the year, but we should have money in there to still be able to go forward with it. Again, that percentage number is not cast in stone, but it's recommended to give yourself a little bit of space to bridge receipts. So that's what I would recommend that we, address at the special town meeting is, the moving of the $80,000 from the undesignated fund balance, to reduce the mill rate, and that comes up in Article 10, there's a list of a bunch of things in there. The other 40,000 on number 51 is something that we would need to adjust when we go to the, process of committing the taxes. So I wanted to put in there just to make sure that the calculations reflect correctly. So,
Well, that brings us on to the next thing here too, the new road bridge bid. You know, what we're gonna do to cover that.
I have a proposal for you. We have road maintenance reserve account. Current balance is $99,312. Now, back in, whenever it was, we actually renamed that, and the town voted on a set of rules, and that we call it the Emergency Road Repair Reserve Account, formerly called the Road Maintenance Reserve Account. This account is specifically for emergencies such as catastrophic failures or damage to roads. The infrastructure by natural disaster or the cause of the target fund levels between 125 and 150,000. Expenditure to the current, up to the current balance can be authorized by a vote of the Board of Selectmen. So we can vote to pay for that work. And, without a special vote, shifting money around at the town meeting. If that's what you wanna do. I don't know what this thing is gonna cost, but, I think the window that he needs to get this done is quickly approaching.
Yeah.
It's July to September, I think, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And, he needs to get a bid out, get it awarded right away.
Well, we gotta see how much it's gonna cost.
Yeah, well, once we see what it costs,
I mean, we did two culverts, what, 2 years ago? They were $68,000. You know, so, but this culvert's bigger.
it's two in one spot, yeah.
Yeah. But still basically about the same kind of a program as
Yeah.
what.
Good. So I would, say let's get the bid out on the street, and, when we get the number, we can approve it.
Yeah.
Does the write-up look okay? The ad and the details that Brian put together? It's similar to the other colors that we did, we used the same,
Use that same bid?
same format, what we asked on insurance and stuff like that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, I will move that we, direct Brian to, move forward with the repair.
I'll
New
second.
contract.
I'll second. All in favor? Okay. Man, after kids take snack shack, shed use, new item wages, review, approve, oh, no, the wages. Review staffing and roster and cost profit estimate.
spreadsheet I gave you, there's a typo, I misunderstood what she sent me, for the wages and what's being spent, what's being brought in. So, on that sheet, Bobby Joe, Amber, is no longer, she left. So Bobby Joe is going to basically move up to Amber's position and get paid $14 an hour. So that's a new wage for her. There is a new hire, Carla, because Ariel needed another adult. And she is recommending being paid $14 an hour because of the oversight. She's basically gonna be doing what Bobby Joe and Ariel do. So Maya, is also very responsible and worked last year, and she wanted to do a $1 raise for Maya. So based on that, she estimated their hours per week, how much is gonna be spent. That's the total of what's being spent. She's gonna be bringing in the profit amount. You can cross out the middle, that's not what's the total. So basically, she's estimating to bring in $3,125 per week. Her wage expense is $2,156. She signed up 5 more kids today, so that bottom number is going to increase, and I asked her if she needed to adjust her hours, and she said no. So that's even more of a buffer, so that's what she's looking at, and Debbie needs, your approval to do those wage changes.
So we've got Amber at $14 an hour?
Amber is no longer, so it'll be Bobby Joe at 14.
Oh, it's Bobby Joe, I got that backwards, sorry.
Okay, basically, replacing one person for another.
Right,
You know,
yep.
so it's-
And Carson and Riley, worked last year, and they're getting paid minimum wage.
Okay.
I move that we approve the, proposed wages and hours per week.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Now, you explained why the $3.14 an hour things, that's good, because I mean, it went from 13 to 14, so.
Yep. I don't know if you've met Maya at all, but, she's very professional, she's a good girl, she does a good job. And the snack shack and shed use, you guys had mentioned in the staff meeting that she could use some storage, so she'd like to use that shed on the left for storage for the toys and the water slide. She really likes the snack shack, and she's actually worked on cleaning it out, cleaning it up. They can drop down, and she pulled her table out today, and they had lunch out there, and there's a couple refrigerators, and she'd like to have cold drinks, a big first aid kit out there, and the water's out there for also the water slide, so she can actually use instead of having it over here like she did last year on the pavement, she can have all her activities out there and just kind of be out there on good days. So, and they had actually lunch out there. She put the slot down, and she could serve the kids outside, and they got a really good kick out of it, so she'd like to use it if you would approve it.
So we've got the stuff that's in there, in the
Right.
shack. There's some old baseball helmets, some old, aluminum bats, and a few softballs and stuff, wiffle balls.
The kids actually had a little ball game yesterday and today using that
Use
equipment,
that,
so.
so they,
Can they do that now? Because I know some schools, your kids can't bring a bat to school.
They just had they had set up the tee, and they hit balls and ran the bases, so, I don't know why they can't.
No. Oh, yeah, there's some schools that a bat's considered a weapon. Yeah. Well, it's like you and I, Joe, when we went to school, we carried a pocket knife. Try to do one now.
I still got one.
No, I have one in my pocket now, but if we was in school, though, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
when I was in high school, I always had a pocket knife.
Yeah.
When I was teaching, I had a kid hit another kid with a bat.
Yeah, they
When I
can't.
was on duty, I was like, I didn't even realize that there was anything going on.
Yeah. I mean, it
Yeah.
happens.
Yes,
But, and then there's a whole bunch of, trash bags full of, recyclable, or returnables, actually,
I think she was gonna take care of that and use that money for return on something,
Good.
okay, so.
Yep, good, get rid of it.
Yeah.
I think you can remember where the returnables come from, can't you? One of you that dumped the soda out?
I took those.
Oh. All right, yeah, I know more.
I took those.
And she's also gonna construct over the weekend, her and her fiance, she has some old boards, they're gonna, board together for the raised beds. She has seeds already started in the room,
Oh.
and she wants to plant them outside, so.
The snack shack will still be accessible if anybody else wanted to use it. Okay.
Since it's for 5 years, but, yeah, why not?
I'm trying to talk my father into doing something else besides the yard sale next year. So, I was thinking like a car show, maybe using the back field. Maybe that snack shack could be put to good use.
They used to get a lot of use.
Yeah,
They sold a lot of burgers out of it.
yeah. Yeah, I've got no problem with it.
And do you wanna just hang on to the sporting equipment, or do we wanna offer some of it up to rec, or how do you guys wanna, do you wanna just store it?
I would offer it up to rec, because some of those helmets, I don't know if they're any good.
I don't think they are. I've been thinking about
Yeah,
that.
probably,
It's like a motorcycle helmet, you gotta, or your hard hat that you had to work with.
yeah.
You know, you can only have it 3 years, and then you gotta throw it away and get a new one.
You had
Those
to
are-
have your own helmet this year if you played ball, you couldn't swap like you used to,
Yeah.
so, helmet, bat.
It might be that you just gotta take them to the dump.
Yeah.
Well, the kids are using them,
Well, they can use them, yeah. Leave them there, I guess.
Yeah.
Leave the equipment
Yeah,
there,
maybe.
use it at the,
Yeah, you're right, I don't know what the, the life expectancy is, but, like you said,
It might tell you right on the inside of the helmet.
yeah, true.
what about the paint and all the hardware stuff, can we take that out?
Okay.
There's some shingles,
In the shed?
mm,
Okay.
storm and one of these other sheds over here.
What's in that, cinder block shed?
There's a generator in there.
Generator?
Yeah.
Yes, chairs, tables,
yeah, we looked at that.
Is it?
it's full.
Junk pretty much, isn't it?
People buying desks all the time, I don't know if people are exempt or not. Not that I want my house, I'll
No, I'm saying the generator.
The generator part would be tough.
Yeah.
An old six-cylinder, I think, that my grandfather, somehow got to the town, but he was,
No,
Oh, really?
it's an antique, really, by today's standards.
yeah.
All right.
If you can find a place to put it,
Yeah.
Yep.
We have a TIF meeting Thursday, June 17th at 2 p.m.
Is that okay with you guys if we do a Zoom for hiring certificates?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make them come here.
Is that up to you?
No, yeah, that's fine. Tri-Town meeting Monday, June 21st at 7 p.m. Planning board meeting Thursday the 24th at 7 p.m. Saturday, town office, Saturday 26th, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m.
did you see that we're going to have a new state holiday?
Oh, yeah.
Where is that? When is that soon?
I think it's,
We're gonna be-
I don't know if she's gonna sign the bill before the 19th, or,
Yeah, that's coming, is it?
yeah, it's June 19th.
Well, that's a Saturday.
Yeah.
Usually, no, I think, what I said was, it was gonna be a day off, a federal day off.
State day off, yeah.
Day off.
Yeah.
So usually what that means is the day before or whatever.
Alright.
Mary, you got anything?
Yeah, I wanna know what an open space application is.
What's that for?
It's, say you've got a piece of land,
Yeah.
and you use, public access on it, and say you let them hunt, fish, bike, ski, do archery or something, and you can put some restrictions on it, like I got some on mine that I don't want no motorized vehicles on it. You know, and then you get a tax, cut on it.
Oh, okay,
It's a lot like tree growth.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've never heard of it before, you know, I heard Ben talk about it. Anything else?
No,
Okay. Bruce, what do you got?
Really sad. I talked to these guys quickly at Whiting, you know, we are having troubles with the repeaters, and I'm gonna explain what happened in the past.
Oh, you just here.
Oh, did it? He's already explained?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
About the elevator being
I'm all
down
with it.
and.
Did he tell you about the trucks and all that?
Yeah.
It's a bill for the repeater now.
That's not a bill, and that's not final. If
I
you
know,
don't-
I know.
That's just an estimate, it's probably gonna be more than that.
Oh,
If the engineers get involved from Channel 8.
right,
oh, yeah.
That is just an estimate from Hartford over here on his part. And if Channel 8 says they're gonna put the 1 5/8 3 runs of coax up, then that's gonna be an additional to what's there, because we have not talked to Channel 8. I have not talked to Channel 8.
Yeah, he said this is just gonna be a rough estimate.
That's a rough
Yeah,
estimate, if anything's gonna go up, I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
And where's this gonna be funded from?
That's the thing that I just got today. I can't answer that. I haven't researched anything, right? You see that I grabbed it this afternoon, so I do not know. And we may not be able to do the major project this year. I may not be able to. I may have to, you know, make sure that the repeaters and stuff are up to snuff, working right and all that. He can't even get in there until sometime in July. And like he told me the other day, there's other people that, meaning their guys, engineers and stuff, will probably go up the elevator first and do their stuff, even before he can get in there to do, you know, our stuff.
Yeah.
So, we're still limping by, and we're still having troubles, but.
Well, does the elevator go?
Huh?
How high does the elevator go?
Oh, all the way to the top, but we're only going 500-foot high, so that's where the first platform is.
You wanna ride, Bob?
And that's why, you know, I wanted to get everything down inside, because it's a 15-20 minute fix, what's going on right now, and we've been 6 months. And it only makes sense that, a couple reasons, you know, down there, we can fix it quickly, also it's protected through the building, you don't have to worry about ice coming down and hitting the cabinet, taking it out. We still have to worry about the antenna and coax, and there's nothing we can do about that. But at least the coax on the side of it, if it hits it, it's gonna be a glancing ball, and probably nothing's gonna happen. Nothing has happened to anyone else's coax
Yeah.
since it's been up there, so.
Yeah. How long has that been up there? It's been 20 years or something like that.
Must be, because
Pretty
it's
rough.
at the end of its life, the radio's at the end of the life right
Yeah.
now, and that's why I may go for the radio, and I talked to him briefly, it may be as simple as him taking one of his, put up there, take ours down, go right straight through it, refurbish it, and put it back up. It may be as simple as that, as a radio pack right now. But eventually, I think it belongs down below, and it makes more sense in the long run for the taxpayers and stuff.
Yeah.
We can get it fixed.
Well, you know, Bob was asking Owen, but, why wasn't it done when it was first put up there? And I was thinking.
Because when I spoke to your dad for it, it was the cheapest way out.
Yeah,
And I spoke to your dad about it, that was the cheapest way out, and that's why they done it.
yeah.
But I don't think that's the best way to do it.
No,
I really don't. I think what we're proposing to do is probably the best way.
so that equipment must be getting pretty obsolete now.
Well, the other thing is, county, and I don't think he wrote it up, because I didn't tell him to tell you about it, and they're getting ready to change over to all digital.
Oh.
And they have a grant, it looks like they're gonna get of $1 million, but when I talked to him the girl the other day on the phone down there, I'm not sure it's gonna trickle down to your level where even we can buy radios. So it tells me that they probably pretty much figured where they want their stuff first.
Yeah.
So that would be another expense coming up. The good thing is, we've already, in the past, when we replaced truck radios and some of our portable radios, we've already been thinking ahead, and we have the digital capability right now.
Oh, yeah.
There is some radios out there that will have to be changed, but not too many. I'm thinking like 3 different truck radios probably that would have to be changed out that I know of, that are the old type. So it's not as bad as it could be.
It's like when we switched to narrowband, and
That's why a lot of them was digital at that time.
yeah,
That's why.
it's always something.
Well, you get some time at least to kind of research this out, see what,
Yeah, I'm gonna have it. I said I'm nervous about it, but I've been, in the last couple of years, I knew that things was going on up there, but we didn't know what was going on up to the tower.
Yeah.
And even right to the day, half I can't tell you what's going on. We know we're getting bleed over, but we don't know how we're getting it and where's it coming from. We don't know.
He says it sticks open.
Every once in a while, it's bleed over, but we can talk over it.
Yeah.
And like Howard said the other day, when we go to this completely digital, you're probably not gonna be able to do that. So he was trying to push also to get this thing down below where it belongs, you know, so we don't have this problem. And that's why he was saying that.
Yeah.
But it is annoying. A lot of people turn the radios right down.
Yeah.
Or off. And it will go on, you know, maybe minute and a half, and go away, and sometimes it's there 10 to 15 minutes.
Really?
What was this cost estimate to replace the repeater with a digital one? Or is it just a?
He was gonna look into that, because if he refurbishes the radio that's there, then he probably can put these components and stuff in.
Or just switch them around?
I mean, first, he was gonna throw his in, so he could take, you know, something he's got as a spare, because we're not the only ones. He works with Naples too, and they run into the same thing as we are right now, you know, with this changeover and stuff. But like you said, he could throw his in there and go right straight through ours. Consider buying a new one. We could buy a new one, but that's about $2,000 also. And you got your truck test bills and stuff this time, right?
yeah, there was like $330 a piece. It was in the pile of stuff here right now.
Yeah.
How do you call it?
They come tomorrow to repair 2 of the trucks, engine 5 and the tank truck. It's got minor problems with sensors. Engine 5 happens to be a valve. It's not, the tank fill valve is not shutting all the way, so when we go prime, we're sucking air all the time.
That's no good.
And that's no good, so I can't suck air with that one, I can suck air. I can't suck water with that one, or right now, engine 1 is like I told you today, we believe it's probably gonna be the packing area.
You can't tighten the packing up on them?
What's gonna happen, when these 2 fixed first, which will be tomorrow, they should be all fixed, they got the parts, you just come and put them on. And then we'll probably, where that one's, engine 1's got so much wrong, it'd be cheaper to send it up there, we'll drive it up there to Lakes.
Yeah.
And leave it and let them work on it, as opposed to having somebody come down here with a van and stuff and start working on, I don't have this, and gotta go back. So I think we're better off taking engine 1 right up there and leave it.
Yeah.
And go from there.
It's not that far to go, really.
No, it's not, I think it's 35 minutes,
Yeah.
coming back from there the other night when I was up there.
Yeah. Well, I get thinking afterwards usually if it's packets, you can tighten packets.
Yeah, as long as something isn't scored, and that's what you look for.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a little nervous. Remember I told you, these things need to use more than we use them, because I think this one's dried out. And if it's scored it, then we gotta do something on shaft.
Yeah.
Hoping, my fingers are crossed, if that's not it, it'd be the cheapest way out, but I will not know until they open it up.
You never know till you open it up.
I can tell you everything under the sun, but I won't know until I open it.
I've had too many bulldozers worked on, and you never know what you need in the final drives and transmissions until after you tear apart and get in there.
Yeah.
You know, they can give you all kinds of estimates and stuff, but you don't know till you're there. So I know what you're up against.
Yeah. And I do know there's another $6,000 or $8,000 bill. I just see it tonight, just as I can do it. It wasn't there this afternoon when I was there. And that has to do with payment on the jaws. I think it's one more after this. I'll have to look to make sure, but that's why you'll see another bill next time, you know, in 2 weeks, it'll be for the jaws, it's a lease payment.
Yeah. I remember when that got set up, there was like a 4 or 5 year period to pay that off.
And I just can't, off the top of my head, tell you what year we're in right now. I know we're towards the middle, towards the end,
Yeah.
in that range. Nothing, unless you guys got something for me.
No, not that. No. What happened the other night, what's all? Cataract?
But when it came in, it sounded bad. Well, it was bad anyhow.
Driving you fast?
I said, how did they word that when they come over the radio? High speed.
High speed?
High speed accident. And one was in and out of consciousness, back and forth, and still was as I was going over there.
Really?
Rescue took that person in.
Was a head on it?
No, they had a guardrail.
In the guardrail.
And that was the other thing, we was told out, there was 2 vehicles.
Oh.
And when we got there, it was only one.
Only one?
But that's people being excited, you have to respect that.
Yeah.
But it can make my adrenaline go up like this too.
Yeah. We got multiple injuries.
Because I'm thinking, okay, life flight for one, what are we gonna do here? And
toss off, they stay in.
and they did, we had 5 ambulances coming just for one person, one boy. I didn't realize that, every time I said, you realize you got 5 ambulances? And Owen was in charge of it, we want me to come.
Joe?
I've got a couple things. One, for whatever it's worth, it might be worth somebody having a conversation with Long Lake about the antenna. And repeat
That could be, that was his specialty.
He's not retired yet.
He's still doing that.
Still working, and, you know, he knows about this stuff.
Yeah.
Talk about an engineer, he designs it, so.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Bruce, is talk to him and see what.
We can talk to him.
Yeah.
I mean, it might mean nothing, but I just thought it was.
The thing I have to do, I have to follow Channel 8's engineers, the way he talked, and that's what stuck in my mind.
Yeah.
They're gonna design whatever they want.
Right. Yeah, tower, so they're going in, yeah.
And they may get involved, but I'm not opposed to asking them, it's free advice, so.
Where's what you pay for?
Maybe he can, kind of guide you through,
Yeah.
maybe give you advice to look out for, or.
He has friends at Channel 8 too.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
You know,
One hand wash the other.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the other thing was on the proposed agenda, which didn't appear on the actual agenda, 2 people were looking for a list of town-owned properties. What was that about?
That changed, they called me at 4 o'clock and said they were coming, and then Owen said, hey, I want on, so that's why that changed. She has something to do with real estate. I don't know, it's Lenny Tracy's wife, she wanted to come talk to the town about town-owned property. And that's the gist I know about it.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I was too.
Okay. We both got satisfied or not satisfied.
Kathy?
The, paint that's out there, is that something that can be put on the outside of the snack shack?
That's a good question. I don't know what's out there.
My first thought is it water-based? If it is, it might go.
Probably been
Probably been frozen, yeah.
It's probably been frozen most of the time.
Yeah.
Because we've been talking, I mean, we mentioned
Yeah.
here at the meeting about a month ago now,
Yeah.
that the buildings really need a little bit of help, and so I kind of talked a little bit with the auxiliary committee,
Yeah.
and they were sort of like, maybe, might be a project that we could take on, and help out the community and the kids, and, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Can open up the cans and see what they look like.
right, exactly, yeah. And if not, we can maybe get some oops paint that kind of matches up, something cheap, maybe
It'll
we
do.
can donate it.
Walmart, yeah.
Yeah,
We used to have a paint shack over at the dump.
yeah, I used to, I don't know.
That's gone.
Well, I used to go up there and get it.
Yeah.
They had this really think all of the quartz, that, you know, like antique colors, like, I went over there once, and there's, I think I just went home with 6 or 7 quarts of that.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, to the,
And it works great.
now. The paint shack is gone, but
Oh,
one of those containers has got stuff in it.
Oh, it's still there then?
Yeah.
It's still physically
Yeah.
there. I thought it got rid of it because it's hazardous waste or something. Oh,
Everything's a hazardous waste.
yeah.
Well, that's why, remember they did the sawdust, they was mixing it with sawdust for a while and throwing it in with general trash.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Yeah, and that didn't work, because it didn't set up, some dropped
Right.
onto the truck and some went onto the road.
Oh, of course it did.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, we can make a mess.
I don't do that no more.
Harold Gilman had that stuff that he identified where you poured in the can, it's little.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Didn't work?
No.
I'll check over at the dump and see what the dump meister tells me.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get some pay on that. The other is the, ginormous yard sale that's gonna be in the parking lot at the library this Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
From 9 to 3, both days. Lots of
is
really
this
cool
something that's happening every week?
No, this is gonna be this weekend,
Yeah.
and then, the end of September.
Well, wasn't there something there last weekend?
There is a Monday market.
Okay.
There was one on Monday, yesterday, and there are 7 vendors.
Yeah,
They have a variety of different things, from, Ben McKinney and his maple products to a couple that makes butter, dog treats and beds for rescue pets, and a gal that does, what do you call it, lotions and potions,
Essential oil.
Essential, thank you, that's the word I was looking
Michelle
for.
Collins.
She's awesome, she's really cool, she even gave me this little sample to try out. And a gal that does, purchase material with Maine designs on it. And then, a couple from the, water tower, People's Perch, they had a little information area, so you can come and talk to them, and, you know.
well, it was funny, because I went over to water the garden at the Chapman.
There you go. So every
Yeah,
Monday,
it
they're
was
gonna be
Monday,
doing that,
right,
Monday
now that I
afternoon.
think about it.
So we're trying to get things going in the
Yeah.
community, trying to get, you know, stuff for the vendors to be able to sell their stuff, and, you know, try to keep things lively. So, we're getting there.
Good, yeah.
Plus it gives the library some exposure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does, yep. Between signs and people being out there, it's made a big difference,
Mhm.
really helping. We're gonna start doing programs again, we're finally opening things up, so we're gonna do some sewing projects,
Yeah.
trying to recreate the, stuff that you used to learn at school.
Yeah.
You know, how to cook, how to sew, how
Oh,
to
yeah.
do plants, you know, things like that.
That needs to be done.
Survive yourself, huh?
That needs to be done.
It does,
Yeah.
yeah. So Danielle, if your kid wants to get involved in learning how to cook and, you know, hands-on projects,
Okay.
we'll let you know. Other than that, I think, you know, you guys have been doing a great job trying to cover all the elements that people need to know about. So getting information out there for these town meetings, I mean, that's a big help, because people don't know,
Yeah.
and they're confused, and so this is gonna be a big help, so thank you, all of you guys.
Thank you.
And,
I
yeah,
also try to keep transparent, transparency.
that's good,
is
oh,
very
that's good, we need it.
You will laugh. I got my ear chewed Friday from a lady up in West Baldwin. There's something to do with, you know, there was a subdivision, or is gonna be a subdivision, it's a 5-year rule before a house can be built. And like I told her, I said, that was done in the 70s.
Right.
She thought it was something new
Oh.
that, you know, the planning board was doing.
Oh.
So I'm like,
Gotta keep up to speed.
yeah.
Wes, you got anything?
Absolutely nothing.
Really? Oh, good.
Wow.
A lull between events.
I see there's 3 excavators working in Sand Pond right now.
On San Tom Road, yeah.
Only 2 there. Then up on 107 where they're building the
Oh,
duplex.
yeah.
Mhm.
They're doing some work there and
Well,
stuff.
there was a little confusion about that lot there going into a subdivision, so I had to stop working on it, so they shifted over to the lots on San Tom Road that they own.
2 different contractors, right?
Well,
And it could be subcontractors that I see today,
yeah.
you know. Yeah.
So that one that's being built now on 107, that is a duplex? Somebody asked me about that.
It's a duplex.
Okay.
In fact, he's starting to prepare land to put in a second duplex, and he's gonna own them and rent them out.
No.
It's not to sell.
Because it's,
But, I made a mistake. It's part of the first hill mother lot, so it's a lot number 7 in our head. But he divided a lot off, so it made lot number 8 without going through a subdivision, so he's trying to get on the agenda to straighten that out, so in the meantime, he stopped work there and he's starting up another lot that he owns. Lenny Tracy's his name. He's the one that built one across the street and run down about 5 where he should have built the first time. So he's doing that.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Bob, you got anything?
No.
Right?
Nope, I did the, sand pond deal yesterday. I went in to check on it, just see how it is, and the buoys was all screwed up in good shape. And as you look out to the 2 anchors up there, the one on the left-hand side, I had to pull that one about 25 feet out.
We set those like that. Believe it or not, we did. 'Cause I was out there, and after I found that one on the left, when I found it, it was upside down, so it looked like it had been moved.
Well, it's certainly been moved, 'cause I moved it, like I say, about 25 feet.
Yeah, you had to move it back.
Yep.
It was like that. When me and Mike was out there, I said, Mike, this is awful crooked. No, it's all right.
Well,
It was awful crooked. It was like, it was staying handles like this, it should have been like this.
Yeah.
I said, when I was down there mowing, I'm looking, I said, it's still crooked.
Well, it was really crooked, because they thought they cut the line, on the buoys to the left-hand side, but they didn't. Everything was there, but they moved that one, they pulled it out, maybe 25 feet too.
Oh.
So to straighten that, I got that anchor straightened out on the left-hand side, then it went up to this one and grabbed it and went back towards shore about 25 feet.
Oh.
It was out a long ways.
Yeah.
They've been heavy. I had trouble on the anchors, on the big ones and stuff, because you go to take a step and you float up. You've got to hang right on in good shape so it keeps you held down. And the water was right to my chin. So that's behind us.
I see on Facebook, the people that bought the tower, they were right on top of that thing the other day. They had harnesses on. I was glad to see
I
that.
wouldn't trust the rivets.
No. The
If
structure
the
itself.
tower's gonna stay together, I wouldn't trust.
Yeah, that's a long time.
I mean, today, you gotta have, I don't know what you'd call them, but they're hoops that go around the ladders and stuff, so you can't fall out of them.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's right.
What's the OSHA guy gonna do when he sees a picture of them sitting on the top of that tower?
Well, if it's private property, you're allowed to commit suicide.
Right, yeah.
That's just, I hope that ain't gonna happen.
We don't have anybody high rescue people, do we?
No. The best you could do is just stand this, and I think they might be able to reach the platform
With the aerial?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
When was that put up, pre-war? Right around the 40s?
Yeah, it was in the 40s.
And, I mean, some of that steel is rusted through. It's 70 years.
I wouldn't trust it, I can tell you right now.
Exactly.
Why was it built?
It provided water to the boilers at the mill complex, and it was there.
Oh, okay.
The rail that goes around the bottom of it, at OSHA standards, they can't be no more than 42 inches up. A quarter inch off the bottom, off the floor, then one somewhere's near in the middle. They don't tell you exactly where, but
Yeah.
he showed pictures of it, we got a top rail that goes around, then it kind of goes like this, the rail and stuff, like it's almost on the middle line and stuff. And I can tell you that's not OSHA approved.
No.
I can tell you for a fact.
So I put up there before OSHA.
No, way before. I had the prints to the bottom of the footings on that, and then some mice get in over my father's shop and stuff. But it had the years and stuff, and I can't remember just what that year said on it and stuff. A bunch of Indians put that together.
Really?
Yeah.
Mohawk Indians?
I don't know, all I know is Indians did all the riveting and everything, and they did all hot riveting, and
Right.
they did all the high climbing and
Yeah.
stuff.
Really, traditionally,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
lower markets and stuff.
The bridges in New York.
They built the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
You know, when you're mentioning ocean and power there, it, we call the trivial factor, I know that sort of proves that ocean's a good thing. It came in